Welcome back to the tropical garden. It's feeling pretty tropical. The gunner is enjoying the rain. Glad someone is. It's getting pretty big. I think I'll do a novelty photo in that fairly soon. Shame I haven't got any newborn babies or anything to put in it. But yeah, look at that. Here's a shout out to James and Hannah for this week's suggestion, and congratulations as well on your engagement. This week I am going to be formulating a shopping list for your tropical garden, a budget starter that every tropical garden will need. No, we're not going to get hanging baskets. Step away from the hanging baskets, Grandma. Oh lordy, I'm getting in everyone's way. So I visited a few shops. I'm also going to add a few links below of stuff that you could buy. However, this is just a guideline and a sort of rough estimate on the prices of the items. I found everything on the list, but from various different sources. Anyway, this is Callistemon, looking beautiful. I'm not going to suggest that though, because it's a bit expensive. This is a budget list. First on my list is Fatsia Japonica, and you can buy it here for £8. The spider web variety, and that is excellent for a tropical garden. It's best for a shady spot. It's on the very far left. I'm not sure why I'm filming all this here. And the same item at my local garden centre, not at the DIY store as I was just in. Here's Fatsia Japonica, and the price is $15.99. So at that price you could buy two. Here's another absolute must. It will be Trachycarpus Fortunei. They're very fast growing, and they're probably one of the best things that you can put in for a tropical garden. The smaller the better really, because they're going to grow fast and they're going to be strong. And some of them go down for as little as, some of these smaller ones go down to as little as £6. And that's the ones you're going to want to look for, because their root systems are still going to be intact. And this is what you can end up with in a fairly short period of time. You can actually see that mine is flowering now, and it's even, I've noticed quite a big change. It can grow for about a foot a year. And whilst I don't recommend you getting bedding plants because they're small, I do recommend you get something like Trachycarpus Fortunei, because it might even end up growing bigger than the other varieties. Here you have Cordline. This is another one that I recommend. And these are also going for £6, which is very reasonable. 3 for £15, I would get 3 of them. They're very hardy, they're very fast growing. I'm not a personal fan of the brown ones. They seem to have a lot of brown ones here, which I think look a bit dead, but I quite like these Torbay Dazzlers at the top here. I would say go for it, get some of these. Other places where you can get cheap plants would be supermarkets, maybe even IKEA. I think DIY places are quite good. But your garden centres will have more varieties, but they will be more expensive. And this is what your Cordline could end up looking like in a few years. Beautiful specimen. And then after a few more years, this is what you can expect. Spotted some aces here for as little as £5. So I think everyone can start a tropical garden on a budget, but you are playing the long game. So you will have to, if you're going to buy small, you're going to have to wait for these to catch up. But well worth the wait in my opinion, because this foliage is very bright and it's particularly good for a Japanese style garden, but anyway, it's just beautiful colours. Okay, so let's look at our shopping list so far. We've managed to find Fatsia Japonica at £8. We bought some small varieties of Trachycarpus Fortunei at £6. Again, some small varieties of Cordyline Australis at £6, and some Japanese maples coming in there at £5, and this is the cheapest we have found them. Of course, you have bought small varieties, and you can always spend more if you want to get slightly larger. Now let's talk about the next 4 items on our list.
What have you spotted? Just looking for stuff to do with bananas.
Which is a great segue. We were looking for Musa Basjoo, which is a hardy banana. We couldn't find any in any of the garden centres we looked in, and you quite often can't find them particularly in DIY shops or anything like that. If you can get hold of some banana plants, these are great value for your tropical garden. You'll get a lot of height off them. From just one season they could end up at 6 foot, and they often will produce babies. Aww, not only is that adorable, but you actually get plenty of bang for your buck. The closest to the camera is Ensete, which I bought off eBay for £7. And in the distance you can see one of my babies from last year, which was a plant that originally cost me £13. So you can look on eBay, but what I've done is I have given you a link in the description for £12.99, and that's pretty much average, and you would buy one plant. So the next on the list would be bamboo. Now, this is a real tricky one for me because I don't really recommend that you go and buy the ones that you get in the garden centre unless you're going to be prepared to add barriers, etc. You can grow them in the pot, but they won't be super happy growing in a pot. So I think your best bet is to buy Fargesia. And if you can't remember that name, think of it as Fargesia, and we found that at £20, and it's a clumping bamboo, and you'll be much better off. Look, I know your grandmother probably had hydrangeas, but they do some lovely varieties nowadays, and they can add a real pop of colour. And I found one for around about £10. So there you have it. I mean, there's a lot of other things that I would recommend. Euphorbia are incredibly easy to grow and have some really tropical looking foliage. So yeah, there's lots of different things that I'll recommend. Take a look at the shopping list and have a look at the links below, and I'll see you all another week.
It's pretty wet around here, but look, things are still doing their thing. The Empress tree is blooming. I don't know what it's going to look like. I haven't Googled it, so we'll see. And yeah, the garden's looking okay, a bit wet. It's coming along. This photo show like you. Done. That's not nice, is it?